may I present the Indianapolis Men's Chorus.
The Denver Gala was incredible. We had not been together all that long. I can't remember, it was 2 or 3 years. I mean, we were pretty new. We went out there, it was kind of a big deal for all of us to get there. But I will remember forever.
I don't know if the audience was completely prepared for what they were going to face. They had heard about us. It's like we were the babies. We were the darlings, sometimes people were saying, of the Gala network that year, because everybody wanted to see what this new group was doing, and they'd heard about us. It was really kind of intimidating in a way to know that we were going into this with so much expectation.
From the moment we walked on that stage and when that announcement was made, it was just, I wouldn't call it chaos, it was just a rounding cheer.
We had no idea what kind of impression we were going to make, but we did a wonderful piece called Bethlehemu, which just knocked them off their feet.
But coming out of the hall there after they had performed the first time, it was so exciting to see the crowd and how they received the chorus. They had banners up that said, "We love Indy, we love IMC," and they were, I mean, at one point they hoisted Michael Hayden up on their shoulders and were carrying him around, and they were kind of named the darlings of Denver.
The chorus, from the very beginning, was an advocate for the GLBT community, and of course we were asked to sing at Gay Pride that year, our very first year together. And at the time they were holding it on Monument Circle, which is downtown.
Pride Day at Monument Circle was very exciting and scary.
Seeing protesters, some of them maybe with baseball bats, and the really hateful signs that they had, it was a little bit scary, to be quite honest, because you didn't know if maybe they were going to try to attack somebody.
I was part of that group that sang on the circle, and it was a really pretty amazing day. It did help people come together more as a group. So at Monument Circle, having people march who clearly hated us was wildly empowering. I'm sure that was not their intent.
One of the benefits of being in this chorus has been the social aspect and the friends you make, the great number of people that you meet and come in contact with, opportunity to learn from them.
I've been incredibly lucky to meet some really wonderful people through the chorus.
I had like an instant group of 50 to 60 guys who I knew as friends and I could relate to and kind of learn from. And I can't think of how it would have been without that for the last 3 years.
Thinking back on when I first joined the chorus, I think my biggest concern probably was how I was going to be accepted, because I knew the age difference was going to be great. And I'd really not had the experience like Andy has had of being able to hang out with the brotherhood.
One of our early commissions was Light One Candle, which was commissioned by us by one of the local arrangers. So we sang that song early on in our history, and then we used it many, many times after that to commemorate our lost friends.
I was just remembering the other day a gentleman who was a first tenor, prissy little thing, loved him to death, and he passed away. He was the first person we had pass away from AIDS. and it just broke my heart.
It was the expectation that this community would support its own and would be there to sing at these events, not just sing at these events, but really be family for these people. In the early years, there was always somebody in the group who was sick, more than one. So I mean, it was something that we really had to, it was a part of our lives.
You know, there was a time there where we were losing a lot of people. A whole generation kind of sent to war without weapons. It was a very emotional time.
We still, do tributes for them by lighting a candle for, in memoriam for the members that have passed on. And every time I see them, I can still see their faces just as if it was yesterday.
The Indianapolis Men's Chorus essentially started around my dining room table. Michael was actually one of the, he kind of sat around the table in the early organization phases, and his intent was to audition others. Michael helped pull all of that together, but he was not going to audition because he was too busy. And the day that we decided we were going to decide on who we were hiring, he came to the committee and said, I think I've changed my mind. I think I want to do that.
Michael Hayden was the first artistic director of the Indianapolis Men's Chorus. I thought as a director he was wonderful. He was a great programmer. All the programs at the different galas are a witness to that. He was a good instructor. Warm-ups weren't just to warm up your voice, they were to teach you something, how to match your vowels, how to produce a certain sound. And then, for example, he'd bring a song out that we were learning, and he would sometimes say, remember this exercise that we do? This is what we're going for on this song.
Ken Howen was the one that had stepped in right after Michael had left. For the time that he was under, we were under his direction, I think he just did a phenomenal job.
Kevin Butler was a very talented man. He was sharp, he was on the ball. He's the first time that I remember actually getting a standing ovation in the middle of a song.
Alan Alder, a very accomplished musician again, and he was a very hard worker. We did our first Madrigal dinner with Alan, and he just brought a lot of joy.
One thing that really struck me a few years ago, Greg Sanders, our current artistic director, the first concert that he directed, it was a Christmas performance. And I really felt like the chorus, in spite of all the ups and all the downs, we'd really come full circle and we're off to like a second great start.
I chaired the committee that hired Greg as our accompanist, and of course we long knew his musical abilities were par excellence, but no one really knew Greg because he didn't really hang out with us much. He kind of looked at being an accompanist as a job, which it was, and we didn't really know the scope of his abilities.
I think Greg has a very large vision for the chorus, and he
knows what he wants.
Yeah, he's a very energetic guy, and he doesn't mind being tough when it's called for.
Yeah.
He has been dynamic. He's been just tremendous, and from the number of people that have joined, the quality of the music, the talent that he has brought in, the style, just the reputation that this chorus has basically restored. It feels like I'm reliving the glory days.
When people tell me that being in the chorus now makes them feel like they're being in the glory days of the chorus, I'm really honored by that because I know what a difficult time it was initially to get started and what a strong sense of community people had when they first came together to sing. And now in these times, we aren't as ghettoized as a gay community. We just aren't. And so we have to learn how to both honor that past and also make ourselves present in the reality of 2014, which is different than it was 25 years ago.
I'm amazed at where the chorus is now. I'm very, very happy that, that it has turned into an organization that really does create beautiful music in addition to beautiful community.
singing. This is an activity that everybody does. Don't take this wrong, but normal people do. And here we are, and we're not preaching. It's just the fact that we're up on that stage as openly gay men presenting the best concert that we're able to do. You know, that was the message.
But we're also now attracting people who are like, oh my gosh, the Indianapolis Men's Chorus, I hear they're so good, let's go. Do you know anybody in the group? No, I don't. Neither do I, but I hear they put on a hell of a show, let's go see it.
And gosh, who can provide better entertainment than a bunch of gay men?